Hello everybody, it's my pleasure this afternoon to introduce my colleague and assistant, Jonathan Hope. And we are both in the Lady Chapel at Gloucester Cathedral, one of the most beautiful spaces in England, I think it's fair to say, isn't it? With an acoustic to match. Anyway, you won't be hearing music today, you'll be hearing Jonathan's dulcet tones. Now Jonathan, you are just over 30 and you came from Surrey?
Well, originally I was born in Hampshire.
But, you were originally born in Hampshire?
Yes, but I say I'm from Surrey because it sounds better.
Good. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I saw the pose then, is it? Okay, right. And your father and mother, were they musicians at all?
In that they did learn instruments at school, but other than that, they weren't musical at all.
Is it possible to trace the family musical genes?
Not really.
Because the music flows out of you.
That's very kind.
No, it's true. And often you can trace it, there might be some great uncle who is an opera singer or something.
I think the closest one me and my mother found, was one of my second cousins, which is one of my mum's distant cousins on her mother's side, and he is an organist.
Oh, right,
and he works for British Institute of Organ Studies. Completely sort of not unmusical, but it wasn't a priority.
And when did you start playing the piano or even the organ? I mean, what interested you in it?
Power. As in
what? Age 4?
No, as in audio power. But yeah, not the other kind. No,
Okay.
I in fact. I did it the wrong way round, if there is a right or a wrong way round. I learned the organ first, and I didn't actually have a piano lesson until I got to university. So,
but your father was a minister, wasn't he?
My father was a Baptist minister.
And there was an organ in the church, which
there was a one manual electric Viscount with added bass at the end. And I grew up in a strict Baptist family, and organs were used to accompany hymns, and that was it.
Yeah.
No music before and after.
But was it that stimulated you that?
No, it was something else. So we, when we moved to Surrey when I was 8 or 9, we met a mutual friend of ours and someone else at our church who used to play the organ in a lot of parish churches in the area, and I got to know him. And he took me around to play different organs, and I was hooked, basically.
Oh, that's lovely.
But that was the only way I got into it.
And you went to George Abbott School in Guildford. Was that a music school?
Yeah, it was. It's a state school, comprehensive school. I don't know what it's like now, but certainly when I was there, it had a really lively music department. So I was very lucky in that respect, because I went into secondary school not knowing that I wanted to do music, and I was lucky that the music department there was so good. So if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have got to the RCM.
Yeah, and you went to the RCM, had 4 very happy years.
Yes.
And for some of that time, you were organ scholar at Southwark.
Yeah, for my last year.
Give us 2 memories of your time at Southwark.
The Market Porter pub and the T.C. Lewis organ, which was just amazing.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Chocolate cake organ.
Well, I haven't played it for, 30 odd years, but I remember it being very lovely. And did you leave Southwark when you left the RCM?
Not quite, because I did 2 years at Southwark, and my final year of university came at the end of my first year of Southwark. So my first year at Southwark was spent doing university, and the second year was spent trying to make up the rest of my salary by doing teaching jobs.
Did you?
Did some piano teaching at the City of London School, and some organ teaching at Sevenoaks School.
Did you? Excellent.
The famous alumnus of which is Corporal Jones from Fad's Army.
Really? I wonder if he played the piano. He probably did, actually. Except his sense of rhythm's not that good, is it?
No, exactly.
Then you saw an advertisement for a much bigger, in terms of time commitment, organ scholarship at Winchester Cathedral.
Yeah.
And you went off there and had 2 fantastic years.
Almost 2 years, because I got snapped up.
You got promotion.
I did. Yeah, it was Winchester was brilliant because, like Southwark, in fact, they both treated me like a second number two, which meant, which I didn't have to do, which meant I got a ton of playing experience and came out of my final organ scholarship feeling pretty secure in accompaniment. And
well, you certainly knew a lot of the repertoire before you came here. But I've got to mention it because you've got such a fantastic reputation and a justified reputation for your improvising. I mean, I'm blown away by what you do every single Sunday. Actually, it's not always in the best possible taste.
No, as you've told me.
But it's certainly wonderful to listen to and tremendously inventive. Is that something that you've always been able to do? Is it something you worked at? Which of your many distinguished teachers, I mean, my goodness, John Belcher, Margaret Phillips, Sophie Veronique, Cochefer, Chopin, David Sanger. I mean, what a quartet of teachers!
It was a good, great quartet. I mean, David Sanger, God rest his soul, I only learned very briefly with about 4 or 5 off the cuff lessons with him. But Margaret and Sophie were my 2 teachers at the RCM, and Sophie Veronique is the joint organist at Saint-Sulpice in Paris, where, well, in France, people just improvise. It's just they learn it as soon as they learn grade 1 piano or their equivalent. They learn how to improvise. And I always found it easy to fiddle around and make stuff up.
It's more fun than learning the notes.
At certain ages, more freedom. But that's what I thought until I had lessons with Sophie Veronique, and then she taught me about structure and form and harmony. And she was the best improvisation teacher I could have wished for, really.
Well, she's known for it, like all of it. Yes, and you certainly, as I say, are very well known for it yourself. Such variety you produce, and you've got one quality which a lot of great improvisers do not have, that you know when to stop.
When you run out of ideas, I mean,
some people just
think.
I've seen organ recital halls empty when people have gone too long. Anyway, tell us a little bit, I mean, I know, but tell the people who are kind enough to be watching us about your job here. Give me a typical day.
Typical day, not unlike yours, I mean, similar in some respects, but I wake up with enough time to spare before morning practice to have a coffee, watch the news, and have a shower. And then I stagger into boys' practice. I always try and get there 2 minutes before you, so you don't go, good evening to me. Most of the time it works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends whether I've lost my keys or can't tie my shoelaces, usually both. Anyway, so we do boys' practice together. I take the probationers off sometimes while you're soloists as well, take them out while you're rehearsing the rest. And typically after that I'll go and have breakfast.
Where?
Which is very important, more often than not, West Gay Street McDonald's. Probably, it used to be get quite out of hand, the McDonald's breakfast, but I've managed to whittle it down to about 3 a week now. So after that, quite often we have meetings, and on Tuesday mornings obviously we have the music department meeting, which is a very important occasion every week. Then I spend most of the day dipping in and out of practicing and answering hundreds of emails all the time, deciding which ones not to answer. And then, in the past I used to do choral scholar rehearsals.
Yes, we did.
But we don't have choral scholars anymore. So I come in at 4 o'clock to practice for, if I'm playing, that is, to practice for evensong, play evensong. Often have a rehearsal after that. There's 3 choirs, Gloucester Choral Society, etc., etc. And then go to bed and do it all again the next day.
It's a long day, but you've missed out what is actually a regular highlight, chorus to tea.
Oh, yeah.
Feeding time at the zoo.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me a little about your favourite piece of church music, and then since you extended this courtesy to me, your favourite bit of concert music. It doesn't matter about the genre.
No.
Tell me. Tell us.
Church music. I had a long, hard think about this. There's tons of stuff that I like. But,
Oh, that's good, because it would have been the wrong job if you didn't.
know exactly. But, I think in terms of church music that we do, we haven't actually done it here since I've been here. It was the last anthem I played at Winchester, and it was Lord, Thou Hast Been Our Refuge by Vaughan Williams.
Oh, really? We have done it. We know the trumpet solo in the loft.
Yeah, I don't think we've done it since I've been here. Yeah, but we need to do it.
Yes, it is beautiful.
But it is beautiful, and it's just got a wonderful end. The way it builds up from unaccompanied voices at the beginning, the little quartet, and then just gradually builds and builds and builds and becomes more exciting.
That's a great choice. I would never have expected it.
I think it's just like one of the perfect anthems, I think.
I completely agree. And what about in the wider world, finally? What's your favourite? What at the moment? What would you rush to listen to?
At the moment, what I rush to listen to, given that if I go on the basis that I nearly always listen to the music of Elgar while I'm cooking dinner sometimes, and it doesn't matter what piece. I was listening to the violin concerto yesterday, which is amazing. But what I would say is probably my favourite piece of Elgar. It's not a choral piece, it's the First Symphony. I think that's my favourite.
Nobilmente.
Yes, exactly. And particularly the slow movement. Yeah. Which I just find that the melody of the slow movement in Elgar 1 is like a written down version of Elgar putting his arm around you. It's just the way the melody is shaped. And in times of my life where things haven't always been easy, that's been a real comfort.
Oh, that's lovely. Unfortunately, viewers, we've run out of time, so I haven't got time to ask him to sing it to you. But Jonathan, thank you very much for telling us about your background and your life, and you are a hugely respected colleague here, and always great fun to be with. So thank you very much.